Hello everybody, welcome back to Fox's Best Laid Plans. My name is Fox. On this channel we plan, and we also do power sheets, and we also look at cute dogs. And if those are the things that you like, then come for those and stay for all the talk about depression, anxiety, and grief. Hi, it's me, Fox. How's everybody doing? Today we're going to go over my power sheets prep work that I did in December, when maybe I was a whole different person. I don't know. It is mid-February. I don't know. After Vlogmas, my channel went off the rails. We're back on the rails, I think. It's a bumpy rail. It's like that part where like you're on the train and you're trying to eat, but like your soup just keeps bouncing out of your bowl because it's so bumpy. That's the part of the rails that we're on right now, but we're on rails. So, hi. So today I'm going to go through my power sheets prep work. As I said, I did these in December, so we're going to talk as we go through. There's a couple things that have definitely changed. I haven't really looked at this in about at least a few weeks, because I didn't really do a tending list for January. I did do one for February, but I haven't filmed any of that stuff because I was just not filming for a while. So if you're new here, I use the Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets. It's a goal planner. It's really good. It does like a deep dive into what is important to you, what makes you shine, what makes you happy, what motivates you, and that helps you unearth what you want your goals to be. So I really, this is my fourth year? 2019 was my first year. So 19, 20, 21. So this must be my fourth year. Wow. So many power sheets. Wow. Okay. 2019 was a rough year, so I kind of remember skipping most of the summer that year. But anyway, moving on. So you'll see as we go through the prep work. So the prep work is a big chunk of it. And so if you are interested in the power sheets, it can be kind of overwhelming to look at this prep work and be like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? It's not, once you start working on it, it's not overwhelming. It's just a matter of setting aside the time. Now this year and last year, I have attended the virtual Cultivate Your Year Live, which is like, it used to be their in-person conference where it's like a one-day event and you would go through and do all your prep work during that. The last 2 years, because of COVID, it's been online, so I was able to attend it, which was really good. I really did enjoy that, and I think it helped me go through it. It goes a little bit faster than maybe I would like to, but it really helps you like get through it because it can seem overwhelming. So let's stop talking and let's start talking about other things. So the first thing you do is you put your name in here. Hello, Fresh Start 2022. This cultivated year belongs to Fox. I don't know. It's stressful. If you're a planner person, maybe if you're not like me, it's not a stressful thing to put the first thing in the planner, but anytime there's a new notebook, the first page is like, I really want to write in this new notebook or this new planner because it's so cool, but I don't want to fuck it up. And so, oh, hi. Also, I cuss. I'm sorry. I learned it from my mother, who learned it from her grandmother, my baba. I come from a long tradition of Ukrainian ladies cussing, so that's kind of my thing. Hi. That happens. Okay. I have several new followers, so I'm trying to be like, welcome, you don't know me, but here you are with me anyway. Okay, moving on, Fox. Come on, let's go. This is why this video is always so long. So you put your name on the first page, and then we got some little like introductory stuff. Introductory stuff. Also, it's the first thing in the morning. Like I'm filming this in the morning before work, and I have really bad allergies in the morning. So if I sound like, I don't know, very nasally, that's why. So they start you off big and bold and exciting. You don't have to do like lettering. I just like, I don't know. I love these pages. There's two of them. You'll see the other one in a little bit. But I love doing like little kind of fancy lettering with it. So this is 2022 goal ideas. What do you want to cultivate in the year ahead? Write some goal ideas and thoughts for 2022 here. No perfect handwriting needed. Dig in. I like to like look at this as like, I don't know, I'm like part of my creative paper planning, and so I do like try to do nice lettering, which ends up taking me longer. And this is one of the pages when we do Cultivate Your Year Live that I'm like this much through whenever they're like, okay, moving on. So my goal ideas for 2022: find peace and mental clarity. Yeah, that's been on the list for a couple of years. Run all the miles. I am a distance runner. Take care of my body. I am a distance runner, so this is also a problem. Spend time outside, see national parks. I am a huge national park fan. We do the National Park Passport, and yeah, that's one of my things. 40 days of travel. That will be discussed more in depth as we go along. Sign up to be a sprint captain. That's for National Novel Writing Month. I've been an ML for 12 years? 13 years? I can't remember. Since 2008, I've been an ML for the Pittsburgh region, and so I would like to be a sprint captain, which is like the Twitter word sprints. That's what that means. That has to do with National Novel Writing Month. Hang out in the cemetery. I'm a nature goth. Hello, welcome. So the cemetery is one of my favorite places to be. It's one of my places where I get my best writing done, my best thinking done. So hanging out in the cemetery is a goal every year. Declutter. Do stories by the month. That's an Allie Edwards scrapbooking project that I participate in. That's the same person who runs the December Daily, if you've seen that. So I do subscribe to the stories by the month. I'm so far behind on them because I just never set aside time for it. So that's on my list this year. Grow my garden. I am a fledgling gardener. My parents are both, well, my dad was, my mom still is, excellent gardeners. Like, their house is amazing. And I have not really inherited that part of things, but I try, so we'll see. But I really love working in my garden, and like, I have really some nice perennials now that are coming back year after year. I'm trying my best out here, okay? Cook lots. I love cooking. I don't always make time for it. You'll see as we go on, one of the big things is setting aside time for things that I love, because I really struggle with that. Like, I love working in my garden. I love cooking. I love scrapbooking, and like, I just don't do it. So, okay. Moving on. Be more organized. That ties in, again, with the not having time. Don't freak out about turning 40. I turned 40 this year, so a goal is to not freak out about that. Cocktails in the City is something that I wanted to do with husband, and I want to try to like do a different cocktail every week and then like make a little journal about it. That's what Cocktails in the City means. Grow my YouTube channel to reach more followers. Hey, I'm already hitting that goal because I have a few new followers that came along after my latest video. So thanks. Hi, welcome. Learn to love my body. I have a lot of issues with self-hate, lack of self-confidence, and mild body dysmorphia that I have worked on with my therapist. And I'm getting better and better and better as I get older, and maybe it's just because I have less fucks to give the older that I get, but I'm getting better, but I want to get more comfortable with that. Every year I try to work on that a little bit. Manage my stress. Well, let's see. We're not off to a good start so far, 2022, but we're only a month and a half in. We got time. Find joy in writing. I used to love writing. That's how my husband and I met, because I used to go to the coffee shop every night and write. And I just don't make time for it anymore. I do it during National Novel Writing Month, and that's it. And so I want to like get back into a regular writing practice again. Visit new coffee shops. Get a fireplace. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. That's on my dream list for the year. I really want to put a fireplace in our house. Our house is a 1904. We are gradually like restoring lots of it because it was kind of in like questionable shape. Not like structurally unsound, but like it had been modernized a number of times. So like big giant open floor plan with high ceilings and the ground floor. Itty bitty IKEA lights up in the top. That kind of stuff. Yeah. So fireplace. There were like 4 fireplaces in the house, I think, before, it got modernized in the 70s. So I would like to get one of those back. That's on the list. Celebrate the fuck out of holidays. I love holidays. Like, you give me a reason to like decorate the house, make a special dinner, wear a cute outfit, I'm in. So celebrating the holidays is like very important to me. New attic floors. Spoiler alert, that happened already. I achieved that goal. Check. This is kind of related to the getting organized, decluttering, and the home renovations we're going to work on this year, but make my house a place of peace. I have a stressful job. I work as a retail pharmacist. I love my job, but it's very high stress. I like to be able to come home and just be like, my house feels nice and my house is a warm hug. And so that's what that means. Run 100K. So I'm a distance runner. I'm an ultramarathoner. I attempted a 100K last year that I signed up for before the pandemic, and I was in much better shape, and I DNF'd. I got to 42 miles and DNF'd. 100K is a little over 62 miles if you're not a runner. And so I want to like redeem that. but plans have changed, which I'll talk about as we go through. New lighting in the bedroom, another home improvement thing. We have a beautiful accent wall that is like a deep navy blue, and then our side walls are like this color blue, maybe a little bit brighter than this. This is a little bit purpley, but like a brighter blue, and I love it. It's very calming and relaxing, but also I'm getting old and I can't see to read my book at night, so I want to get like new lighting in the bedroom. So that's all those are like my 3 home improvement things for the year. Host friends for a wine night. This is something we did regularly before the pandemic. At least once a year, usually more than that, we would have friends over and we'd have a themed wine night, and we would do tastings and do food pairings and education about the wine region and everything. We haven't done it since January of 2020. I want to get back to it. We're all vaccinated. Cases are starting to come down. Keeping an eye on stuff. Maybe we can do a nice outdoor one in the summer. It'd be great. Read more. I love to read. I don't make time for it. Bad movie, good wine night is something the husband and I came up with, and we haven't done it yet. What we want to do is like once or twice a month, watch a really bad movie, like a classically bad movie, like The Room being an example, but not The Room because that you can actually see in the theater, and my running girlfriends love it, and I want to see it with them, and I never have seen it. But that's the kind of idea. And then open like a really nice bottle of wine. That's what bad movie, good wine night is. And then finally, feel strong. I used to like lift heavy quite a bit before I really got into distance running, and I would like to get back to some more lifting, maybe not quite as heavy as I used to be, because I don't know if that's like super conducive to being a runner, but I want to get back into lifting and get some muscles again. So now you go through these little work pages here. Comparison isn't just the thief of joy, it's the thief of everything. And then it says, where does comparison sneak into your life? So the things that I selected on here were appearance, expertise, work, and then you can add your own, and I added wanting a lake house. One of my friends just bought a lake house, and I like really want a lake house, and I'm like obsessed with her lake house. Not obsessed, but I'm like, oh, I want that. That's my comparison, is the thief of joy, wanting a lake house. Yeah, so there's other options that you could choose on here. I feel like appearance, expertise, I think, was relating more to my like YouTube channel, being like, oh man, all these people have so many followers, and they're like so popular, and people like them, and have a Facebook group, they all talk. I'm like, oh, I want that in my life. I just don't have I'm just not smart enough and good enough to do it. I would say work. Like I said, I have like a really rewarding but stressful job, and sometimes I get like, oh man, it would be so nice to just work from home, or it would be so nice to like be able to make money off of my YouTube channel and make videos and not have to like worry about driving in the snow to open my store whenever it's like 10 inches of snow. So that's what I would say with those things. And then I've explained the lake house. The lake house. That's a someday goal. All right, so about me. Who you are helps determine where you're going and what your specific goals will be. So it says ways I'm most encouraged. And so the options on here are acts of kindness, affirming words, hugs and affection, meaningful gifts, quality time, surprises, and then you can add your own. I chose affirming words. I like it when people are like, that's a good job. You did a good job. Quality time. I'm not like if you saw my house, you'd be like, you have a lot of stuff. But I'm not like a stuff person. Like for holidays and like birthdays and Christmas, I don't really want stuff. Like that's not my thing. But if you were like, for your birthday, we're going out to dinner and we're going to do this amazing hike, or, like that's the kind of stuff, quality time. Like this year, I was like, this is my birthday, I'm going to go to the cemetery and then we're going to have a nice dinner. Quality time is like what's most important to me. I marked 2 things that I added in for ways I'm most encouraged. One was time alone. I am an introvert in a lot of ways. If I'm in charge of something like National Novel Writing Month, I can be extroverted for that. But if I don't have time to myself to recharge, I am just a horrible person to be around. If I'm not running and I don't have alone time, you don't even ever want to meet me. Like, you just will be like, who's that? We don't want her. And then time in nature. Time in nature really, like, rebuilds me, replenishes my soul. That's part of the reason I go to the cemetery all the time. That's why I'm a runner, a trail runner. Like, that rejuvenates me and motivates me. Next up is I want to be known for. And so the options here were accomplishing important things, caring for people, creating beauty, leaving the world a better place, providing an example for others, solving problems, spreading joy, and teaching truth. I chose caring for people, obviously. I'm a healthcare worker. That's my thing. Leaving the world a better place. Yeah, that's important to me. I really think that's... I don't have to be known. I don't know that I have to be known for it, but I want to make sure that I do it. Like, it's not really, like, super important for me to be, like, after I'm gone, people to be like, yes, Fox is the one who did this. I just want the thing to be better, and if I help it be better, then that's enough for me. Then I wrote spreading joy. I like to spread joy. I like to make people laugh. That's kind of my thing, too. And then I added 3 other things on here. Helping dogs be happy. I'm a volunteer dog coach at the shelter here. Being a little weird. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. See, the closer I get to 40, the less fucks I give. If you had asked me in high school, like, do you want to be known for being a little bit weird? I'd be like, no, I want to be cool and normal. I mean, no, that's not true. I wanted to be cool, but I didn't ever want to be normal. That's the thing. And, talking openly about mental health. That's very important to me. As you'll see on this channel, I have struggled with anxiety since I was little, like 6 years old, and depression since I was like in college, and I like to talk about grief. That's a special interest of mine, is grief. It always sounds weird to say it, but yes, that's something that I really like to talk openly about. So being an advocate about mental health is something that's super important to me, and just talking about stuff and not being like afraid to be like, hey, my brain doesn't work and it's okay, and I'm still here day to day getting through it. That's important to me. What helps me do my best? The options here are accountability, being part of a team, clear milestones, confidence, creativity, curiosity, data, efficiency, flexibility, independence, plan, space to go slow, stability, strong leadership, and taking risks. I would say what helps me do my best is accountability. It really helps if I have something that I have to check in. That's why I like a planner so much, and that's why I like a goal planner like this so much. Knowing that I could check in here. Facebook groups where there are other people and we're like discussing stuff. My friend Taylor and I are always like, what did you meal plan? Did you work out today? Like, that helps. Clear milestones. I think I have a lot of issues with decision fatigue. And as a Libra, I have a lot of issues with making decisions. I'm very indecisive. And so having like clear things set like to work towards, that really helps structure me. Creativity is obviously very important to me. As you see, I'm like already doing creative shit in here and doing lettering on my fucking Powersheets. So curiosity, I'm like interested in everything. Sometimes I'm interested in too many things and I can go down rabbit holes, but I really like, I'm always nebby and I always want to be learning stuff. Independence, just like don't micromanage me. That helps. A plan. Yes, having the plan, that goes along with clear milestones. Having something to like work on and work towards helps me stay structured. And stability. Yeah, I don't like change, and I do not get along very well. I like stability, and I like to grow around stability. I like to have like a solid backbone of like, yeah, this is good, and then I can try this little branch out here, and I can try this, but I need to have like the basics stable. I feel motivated when my options here were I try something new, challenged or pushed to soar, I'm incentivized, others are counting on me, someone encourages me, or there's a consequence. I picked on this 2 of them. I feel motivated when I try something new because I really love seeing new things, doing new things. Sometimes it's scary, but I get like, ooh, I want to try that. I really want to try curling. I always like watching curling in the Olympics. The Olympics are on right now. And we have like a curling studio. I don't know what the word is for it. But you can go and curl. Can you use curl as a verb? Anyway, you can participate in curling if you go to this place in Pittsburgh, and I really want to go. I also feel motivated when I'm challenged or pushed to soar. So like, I feel like if someone is like, can you do this thing? And I'm like, I have so much ahead of me and I can do this. And like that like lofty goal, like, yeah, like planning for something like big, that motivates me a lot. How I feel about goals. So the options here were, I want change in everything. Let's do this. I'd rather help someone else with her goals. Goal setting is easy. You just make a plan and do it. I'll probably complete my first 2022 goal on January 2nd. I'm feeling hopeful about the year ahead. I'm afraid to commit to goals. What if they're the wrong ones? Or I want to do it all now. I'm anxious for my life to change. And I selected, I'm afraid to commit to goals. What if they're the wrong ones? I wrote in here, I'm afraid to be hopeful. And that's something that I have worked on for years in therapy, is that I get very excited about things, and then I also get very worried about completing these things that I'm excited about, because I feel this like, if I go for something and I achieve it, either I don't deserve it and it's not going to work out, or that means that something else is going to go wrong to balance the good thing that happened. It's just how my brain works. It's something I work on. But yeah, it makes me, it's at times it's paralyzing, because I am very excited about goals, and then I will be like, oh my God, I can't achieve that, because then what next? Or what if that offsets I don't deserve this good thing, so if I get this good thing, then something bad has to happen to balance it. It's just, and I know those things are not true, but it takes a while for me to rationalize it sometimes and logically work through it and be like, you deserve a good thing sometimes. What makes you come alive? Okay, so this is like everybody's favorite spread. This is another one where I did some lettering, because I like to I take pictures of this and have this on my phone that I can look at. So, an intentional life is fueled by passion. Quiet or loud, it's the spark that gives you the energy to live each day to the full. Describe how you feel most days. And I said tired in all capital letters. Anxious. I feel like I've been living in fight or flight for so long. I feel stretched so thin and like I can't do the things I enjoy because I'm out of energy. So, stressful job. Pandemic for multiple years. I lost my dad in August of 2021 to small cell lung cancer. The store that I had worked at, that I thought was going to be my retirement store that I would work at for the rest of my career, closed suddenly in November last year, 2021. My new store has a lot of different stressors, and it was like a store that we've had to work to clean up a lot, because they had been really short-handed for like months and months at a time. So all of that, my grandma, who was 96, fell and broke her femur, went through surgeries, was in nursing homes, eventually caught COVID, and eventually she passed away. She had congestive heart failure, but all of these things were all happening in like the pandemic's been happening for a long time. And anybody else who's in healthcare or any kind of essential worker, retail, anything where you're still having to work with the public all the time, it's so stressful, and it's stressful and you're tired. But like, I never got I remember sitting there when TikTok was first getting big and everybody was watching Tiger King, and I was like, oh my God, I am still like going to work every day, and we didn't have PPE at the time. Like, that's where it started in March 2020, was like, ever since then, it's been a roller coaster of fight or flight for me. And then all of these things happening in the last 6 months that I just mentioned, it's like, I just feel like I am stretched to my limits. I have so little time, and I'm trying to get back to a place where things are organized and I have time to actually do things that make me feel. It becomes a vicious cycle, that the things that I do that make me feel good, like creative outlets, like scrapbooking, going dancing, going for long runs, being outside in nature, the things that build me up like that, I have so little time for them, so I don't do them. So then I never get that recharge and replenish. So that's how I've been feeling, especially amplified in the last 6 months. Well, honestly, since my dad was diagnosed in August of 2020, and then it was, he was in very, very bad shape when he was diagnosed, and we really thought we only had a couple weeks left with him, and then we ended up getting a whole year, which was amazing. But ever since he was diagnosed, it's been very, very stressful, and then we lost him in August, and it was just devastating. And so the last 6 months since he declined and was going on hospice, and it's been particularly enhanced, all of these feelings. They were building, and then it was just so it's been rough. This is the page I think that everybody loves the most. It's what fires me up. It says, what do you love? To uncover your unique passions, those things you're willing to sacrifice your time, resources, or attention for, start with the things you love to do or have in your life. Write them here. So the desert, obviously, is number one. If you are new here, I am one of those weird desert people. Okay, and what I mean by that is that there's a group of us that exist in the world that have this draw to the desert and the weird parts of the desert in particular, and that's me. So Joshua Tree National Park is my absolute favorite place on the entire earth. I also love Death Valley, and I love the desert of Utah. Every desert that I've gone to, with the exception of Los Angeles, where I lived for a while, and I didn't love it. And it didn't really feel deserty. It didn't have that vibe. Anyway, the desert. Travel in general, but especially travel to the desert. Dance. I love dance. I love dancing. I was a former competitive dancer. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. But going out dancing helps, like, I don't know, it just helps my brain so much. Quiet time in the cemetery. Feeding my squirrels. I have one squirrel named Clarence who comes to my window. In fact, I'm looking for him. He's usually here by now, but he hasn't come up yet. I have Clarence and then some other little friends who drop in from time to time. It makes me really happy. Clarence has learned to like come knock on the window when he's hungry, and it's adorable. Volunteering at the shelter. Like I said, I've been a volunteer dog coach since 2016, and I love it. It makes me so happy to see my puppy dogs. A long run with a good podcast. You know, when like you get into a good podcast and you're like, I'm gonna make a longer run today. I'm gonna go another mile to finish this episode. Yeah. Trail runs in general. Trail running is like home to me. I just love it. I don't really do it during the winter, and honestly a lot of the fall, because I get very scared about falling on the leaves. But spring and summer, I try to do at least one trail run a week. Going to fancy dinners, not like fancy, like, ooh, fancy, but just like give me tapas where I can try like 17 different things at dinner. Oh, yes, I love it. Being anonymous in a crowded place. This is something that I've loved since I was in college, and the first time that I traveled solo at all. And I lived in Boston for a little while. Well, I lived in Cambridge, but when I was in college, and I just moved there by myself. It's a long, complicated story, what the reasons were behind that. But one of them was I just wanted to try something new, and I loved New England. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to Boston for the summer. And it was like amazing, like to be in this like crowded place where there were so many people around and nobody knew me, and I was just like able to like observe, and there's a special feel about that. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Dave Matthews Band concerts. They're my favorite band to see live. They are like one of my top 3 favorite bands. And I've seen 43 shows, and we are going to the Gorge this year for Labor Day weekend. Yay! Writing or being otherwise creative at The Cage. The Cage is a dive bar up the street from us. It's where I had my first legal drink when I turned 21 at midnight. And we are friends with the staff there, and it's just a nerd bar, and it's like a bar where you can just go. I can bring my notebook, I can bring my laptop, everybody is like, I mean, not the people, everybody is doing that, but you will almost never be at the Cage where someone is not writing or reading, and that's what I love about it. Working in my garden, I talked about that in the other page. Layla Grace is my little sweet angel baby. I put her in the center because she's the center of my world. That's my puppy dog. She's a teeny tiny pit bull. Here's a picture of her. She's perfect in every way, and I love her. Exploring new places, that goes along with travel and the desert. I love to see new things. Travel just builds me up. Chasing sunrises and sunsets. I'm always like, when I'm on vacation, I'm like, we gotta go see the sunrise. We gotta get up and see this. And tonight, I made dinner reservations, and we can see the sunset right from our table. That's just, I don't know what it is. I love Hallmark movies. They're so cheesy, but they make me so happy. I also love spooky movies. I like specific types of spooky movies. I don't like people being mean to people, like Hostel or Saw. I don't like those, but I love like old 80s ones or anything that's about a ghost or like spooky stuff. Like, yeah, I love spooky movies. Quality time with husband. I love spending time with husband. Right now we're both so busy with work. It's been like, quality time has been like watching the Olympics together. That's it, but I love it. Good wine. We are definitely wine people. We go out every year to California again. Like, we used to live out there. Well, we lived in Los Angeles. We lived in the valley, actually, if I'm being honest. But we used to go up to Central Coast, and so now we go back just once a year because it's expensive to fly out there. And we do wine tasting and bring home wine and everything. The other thing that I drag people to do when we're on vacation is stargazing. I really love being outside, especially in the desert. You get such good stars in the desert. It will be 30 degrees, and I'll be like, we're putting the tripod up. We're going to see the stars tonight. It's just how I am. I love coffee. campfires. Oh my God, I love all summer. Like we have this little fire pit and it has dancing bears on it because I love bears. And so we make a little campfire and then I put music on. And on Saturday nights, there's this friend of a friend who DJs every Saturday night, 80s at 8 and 8 o'clock it starts. And we'll put on the 80s music, or like in the summertime when Dave is doing live shows on Sirius, we'll listen to the Dave show and we'll just like lay in the grass and look up at the stars and have the campfire and drink wine. Oh, it's so nice. Okay, vlogging. I really like vlogging. I sound doofy sometimes, but I like it. National parks, I've covered that. That's my favorite thing. Cooking, I talked about that as well. Going to Phipps, that's our local botanical garden. I'm a member there, and I have not gone the last 2 shows. We missed the Christmas show just because I didn't have time to go to schedule it. But I love it. I've got a membership because it basically pays for itself if you go to every season's show. And I just like walking around. It's very calming and peaceful to me. Being up before the sun, despite the fact that I was a night person my entire life, in the last few years, I have become a morning person, and getting up in the morning early and having time to myself is when I shine. Did not expect that. Would not have predicted that. Taking pictures of everything. I take so many pictures, and that goes along with scrapbooking. I scrapbook. Not as much as I should. Not as much as I want to, let's call it that. It's not should. It's like I really like to do it, and yeah, I don't do it enough. Planning, obviously, planner channel, and candles. I don't have my candles lit right now because I love these. This is what I use. These wood wicks. I love the sound. It's like the ones that crackle. But on my last video, something with the microphone was acting weird and it sounded really distracting. So I usually have them lit while I'm doing my plan with me's. And it just sounded funky, so I didn't want to do it for this one. But I'm like, I should have my candle lit right now. There's something about getting up early and it's not daylight yet. And you have your coffee and you have your candles and you put on some music and you're like, I can do my day. I can do my day. All right, so let's move on to the next section, which is the Cultivated Life Evaluation. So this is in every year. They have it set up a little bit differently than last time. So they want you to check in. It's 8 different areas. So health and wellness, friends, focal relationship, which used to be like spouse or partner or significant other or something. So they've changed it to focal relationship. So you don't have to do a spouse or partner. It could be a family member or a friend, or it could be yourself. Then there is one for family, finances, work and learning, spiritual and personal growth, and recreation. So you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10. The way that I always set these up is that I do plus and minus. So I go through like the good things about each of these sections and the bad things. And we used to do this in LiveJournal. Who had a LiveJournal? All right, did you? I just got notified that it's my 15-year anniversary with LiveJournal, which I don't think is accurate because I started in like at least 2001 or 2002. But they just sent me like maybe I've been paying for it for 15 years. But if you had a LiveJournal, this is how my friend and I would like, if we had a busy day and we want to like recap our day in our LiveJournal, it would be like, plus, I saw my friend, minus, I ordered a pizza and it was stinky, or whatever. Stinky pizza? Really? That was my example? And then at the end, you choose 3 areas that you want to cultivate the most. So you can see I chose health and wellness, spiritual and personal growth, and recreation. So for my health and wellness, I gave minus for weight. I have gained quite a bit of weight during the pandemic. I don't feel great. I also got diagnosed with high blood pressure. I don't know if that was the stress or the weight gain or both. So yeah, I'm trying to work on that. And then I also gave a minus to things feel creaky and old. I have arthritis. I've had arthritis actually since I was a teenager from dance. But yeah, I'm starting to feel it takes a little while to get moving in the mornings. I gave myself a positive for I can run a lot, which is true. Distance runner. Negative for the high blood pressure. Also negative for stomach issues. I had my gallbladder out. Oh, that was something else that happened in that 6-month period that I forgot to mention. I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery. Well, I was hospitalized. And then they gave me 4 weeks to get the gallbladder out because I begged and pleaded because we were taking my dad on his final vacation. And I was like, I can't miss this vacation because of my gallbladder. So, but if you have no gallbladder, I have a gallbladder. But if you have no gallbladder, you know what I mean. Like, your stomach just doesn't want to be itself. So I don't like that. I gave myself a positive 4. I'm managing my stress pretty well, all things considered. That's a lot of conditions on that. And I gave myself a negative on sleep. I've always had trouble with insomnia. Even when I was a little kid, I always had trouble sleeping. I manage it with medication, and also I try to do like low lighting and like all those different things, you know, sleep environment stuff. So it's better than it was, but it's still not great. So I gave myself a 4 out of 10 for health and wellness. For the friends category, I gave myself a 7 out of 10. The positive is that I have friends I can rely on and who I have fun with. The negative is we need more happy hours. Like, we used to go like to happy hours with like our girlfriends from the gym, and we haven't been doing that because of the pandemic. And then another negative was we were all so busy, like trying to make our run schedules match up sometimes is really hard. And then I said a positive overall, but I love them, because I do. So for focal relationship, I chose my husband for my focal relationship. I gave us an 8 out of 10. Positive, things are good. We don't fight. Minus sign, we are both so tired. Minus sign, our jobs are stressing us out so much, as Steve previously mentioned, that quality time is right now just watching the Olympics. Positive, we are a good team. We get through it. We support each other through this, and that's very important. I just wish we had more time to spend together on quality shit instead of just being like, I'm so tired, I can't move. Family, I gave myself an 8 out of 10 because my mom and I are very close, and I like our small family that we have. Everybody gets along fairly well. It's like normal family stuff, like nothing out of the ordinary. We all have similar views. We all have a lot in common. I gave 4 minus signs because I miss my dad. I love my dad. My dad and I were so close, and it's just, yeah, it doesn't get any easier. When people are like, it gets easier, it doesn't get easier. You just get better at managing it with grief. That's the long and short of it. I had a minus sign here, worried about grandma. She passed away, so my worries were very valid there. When I did this in like December 7th or 8th, that's when she was like, had just gotten over COVID, was living in a nursing home, was not in the best of spirits. Yeah, so that's when things started to really be worrisome with her when I filled this out. So finances, I put a 6 out of 10. Plus sign, we did a budget. Plus sign, now that I have a new job, I worry less. I thought I was going to be unemployed when my store closed, and so we did a budget to try to plan for if I didn't have a job, like how long could we make it before I found a new job, and you know, all that. So now having a new job, I worry less about money, so that's good. Minus, we need to open a savings account because we are not grown-ups. That's on our list. And I said minus, we need a financial planner to sort out our retirement shit. Like, we both have like 401ks with our companies, but I don't know what I'm doing with the rest of my life. I don't know. And then a positive, I can afford to travel, which is my favorite thing. So that's a good thing. So for spiritual and personal growth, I gave myself a 5 out of 10. This is one of my 3 focus areas for 2022. I said plus sign, I found some things that are good for my soul, like going to the cemetery, traveling, and trail runs. I said minus sign, some community might be nice. I'm a druid. And there's not really like a group, it's not like a church or a group that you can really go to. It's very like, I think that's part of being a druid, is like being comfortable with yourself and being, you know, walking your own path, I guess is what they call it. But yes, that's my last positive. So I said minus, some community might be nice, positive, but druids are generally solo. So like, it's not unusual, but it would be kind of nice to have a community. And yeah, but like a lot of the pagan related groups are specifically Wicca, which I'm not a member of that. So it's kind of hard, but I gave myself a 5 out of 10 because I'm kind of somewhere in between things, and I feel like I have a good relationship with spirit. We talk all the time. That's very good. But I just kind of feel like out there, you know, I know the things that build me up spiritually, and that's important. And that's, I think, is the key. So work and learning. The first thing I wrote is, I am so stressed, in all capital letters. This was like the beginning of the height of booster shot season, and Omicron spike is when I was filling this out, and things were so crazy. We were doing so many shots, and like it was just very stressful to be at work every day, more than normal. I gave a plus sign for, I like my schedule. We do 7 on, 7 off, which I really enjoy because that gives you that whole week to like recharge. You can go away on trips. Like, it's just really nice. I gave myself a negative for worried about fitting runs in around work, which is true. Like, when I am distance running and I'm training for a long distance, my old store, we were closed on Sundays. And so every Sunday I could do my long run. I always had long runs available to me on Sunday. Now we work 7 on, 7 off. So we were like 7 on, 6 off with Sunday off in the middle of the 7, if that makes sense. So you would work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We both worked every Wednesday. Now we work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you're off every other Wednesday. But that doesn't really help with long runs because I'm not going to do a long run on a Wednesday typically. So that was something that was causing me a lot of stress. And then I put in a negative sign. Seriously, no end in sight to COVID, vaccines, etc. And I gave myself a 4 out of 10 on work. And yeah, that's healthcare right now. That's our life. My final focus of the 3 focuses was recreation. I gave myself a 4 out of 10. The minus sign was too stressed to enjoy time off or time to myself, which is true. When I come home, a lot of times I am just a zombie. I come home from work, I make dinner and maybe do a workout, and then I go to bed. Plus sign, I got to travel in 2021. We really did. We made travel a priority. Once we figured out how to safely travel, we made that a big priority. And then minus sign, having a hard time balancing and being present. So yeah, I really have a hard time like shutting off my work stress and my work brain and focusing on my time off. That's the balance there is not a balance. Okay, welcome back. To you, no time has passed. To me, it's been a day because I forgot how long these take to film. Oh my god. Okay. This might end up getting broken up into 2 videos, I think is what's going to happen, but so let's move on to, this was like a recap of last year kind of thing, and review what you've learned and what helped and what worked and didn't work. So what worked in the last year, I said channeling everything I've learned in therapy. I needed it. And that is very true. My therapist, Georgia, was very much like, I am here to teach you to not need me. And so thank God that's how she structured her therapy. She retired in May. But I feel like I've like pretty much held on pretty well, all things considered, because it's been a lot to go through. And I'm still, much like the Elton John, I'm still standing. Waking up early for me time, that was a big thing. Really having the mornings to myself was like incredibly helpful. That's where I get a lot of my good thinking done. I really enjoyed it. Taking time to do my planner. This just means like the days, even if I had like bare bones layout done, just having the planner done that I could check in with it every day, that I could see the big events that were happening, that really was helpful to me. Setting aside time to run, and what that means is like I have a tendency when I have a long run to be like on the run thinking I should just cut this short because I have so much to do at home, and like thinking about the laundry whenever I'm out on my run or something stupid like that. So like what this means for me, setting aside time to run, were the days where I was like, you have a 5-hour run today, so that's all you're doing from this hour until this hour, you're just running. And like making that space mentally so that I could actually be present and enjoy the run and not be like, I should be home, I should be home, I should be home. Meal planning, the weeks that we meal planned, so much better for my brain than the weeks that we didn't. And finally, traveling as often as possible. As you have probably gotten the impression right now, travel is a big part of what keeps me going and what motivates me and what I love. So, yeah. People I'm grateful for who helped you cultivate what matters in the last year. Write the names of those you're grateful for and why. So I said my dad. I miss him more than words can say. I was so grateful for the quality time I had with him this year. As I mentioned earlier, he passed away in August. We got to take this amazing trip because I was like, we are going on one family vacation before this all ends. And, well, I didn't say it in those terms because, you know, as someone who has a tendency to be a little morbid sometimes, that was too far. But I said, it's important to me that we take this trip, that I really want to do this. And we did, and it was amazing. And I'm so glad that we did. And I was so glad for that year to really have the time to, like, make sure I was taking videos and pictures and talking to my dad. And, like, I felt very at peace that I didn't have anything left unsaid when he passed. I'm also grateful for my husband. he's really been trying to step up and like help out with more chores, even though sometimes he's like, I don't understand why it matters if the dishes are put away when you come down in the mornings. And I'm like, it matters to me. So he's really been trying to help me balance my brain chaos and be my anchor this year especially. I mean, always, but this year especially. Georgia, that's my therapist. I wouldn't have made it through this year without her. And my mom, I'm grateful to have her around while we're going through so much together. It's been really good to have the two of us to like lean on. So she stays at our house sometimes, we stay at her house sometimes. We did a vacation with her. We're just trying to really like include her in a lot of things, and I'm really glad for that because I don't want her to be like lonely, and she lives alone now that my dad's gone. You know, I don't want her to be sad. So it's been really good to have her around all the time. Challenges for 2021. What didn't work in the last year? Letting anxiety and depression drive. Yeah, whenever I just let the anxiety and depression and I don't like push back against it, it can really be debilitating to me, very much so. Mindless scrolling. I wrote that in all caps and said, oh gosh, why do I do it? I hate it. But that is part of, as I'm like reading articles and things, that's part of, I think, how my depression comes out. How my depression manifests is with like disassociating, and so like just scrolling mindlessly, like, and I'm like, well, why don't I read a book? I'm like, I don't have the energy, the mental energy to read a book, but I have the mental energy to like look at TikTok. So it's something that I would like to work on, is scrolling less, but I kind of understand why my brain is doing that. Sometimes when I'm so stressed and I'm stretched so thin, that's all I have the energy for. Going to the grocery store hungry and without a meal plan. Oops. Yeah, don't do that. That does not bode well for bringing home food that you'll actually eat. That's not like Oreos. Feeling guilty saying no to things also did not work. I have a big problem with this, especially like with the shelter. If there is a hole and it's my day off, I'm like, okay, I have to go. Not thinking, no, Fox, you have other stuff to do that day. You can't really give up, 2.5 hours of your day on this day because you have other things going on. And then I feel guilty about it if I don't do it. Obsessing over the news. I am very, very bad at that. If there's something going on in the news that is like stressful, like COVID, like the first couple months of COVID in 2020, I was just reading the news constantly, and I was like doing a journal club. If you're not in healthcare, journal clubs, like whenever you read an article in a medical journal and then you present it to everybody else and like talk about, analyze the article. Was it a good article? What do we learn from it? I was like doing that every day in like March through June of 2020. So, and I still do that today. Also did not work. Letting stress from work steal my joy. And I talked about this earlier a little bit. Putting off things that build me up emotionally because of work stress or pandemic stress. And so then it becomes a vicious loop of I am putting off the things that bring me joy and build me up, and then I'm not doing those things, so I feel worse. And then another challenge was living in clutter. I really, like in the fall, basically when things got like super chaotic with between work and grief and everything else, my depression flaring up, I have been really bad at like keeping the house clean, and it just eats away at me. And especially like these last 2 months while we had the house torn up. If I don't think I mentioned, maybe I did mention. Oh yeah, I did mention that we got our attic floors replaced, but in the process to get the attic floors replaced, we had to take everything that was in the attic, which is 2 rooms and 2 closets, downstairs into the second floor, which already has its own stuff, and then we had to like cram it into 2 rooms. So it was like that for almost 2 months, I guess. No, month and a half. It was like the week before Christmas, and then we just started putting it up. We were able to put it up like a week ago. So yeah, I guess it was like 5 or 6 weeks that it was like that. And it just like paralyzed me. Like I couldn't do anything creative because all I could see was the clutter around me. So what I learned, big or small, what did the good and the challenging from last year teach you? What lessons can you use as you move forward into the new year? And I said that I'm resilient and I can get through the most awful and difficult things, but that I need to nurture the things that give me life. I need to travel or go on trail runs or sit in the cemetery or watch the sunrise to recharge myself. I need to prioritize me and do things that build me up. So for me, every year, this is one of the hardest pages. This is the identity box page. So it says, we're so quick to limit ourselves, deciding who we are, who we aren't, and what we can and cannot do. Putting ourselves in identity boxes holds us back. It keeps us stuck waiting for someday when we feel like we are enough. When we expose those lies, we can move forward with passion and confidence, no perfection required. So the question that they ask you to think about is, where do you feel stuck? What lies have you believed about yourself or your life? So the things that this is kind of like negative self-talk. If you've worked on negative self-talk and negative self-image, and what my therapist and I used to call it was battling the monster, and the monster is like this self-hate that just tells you you're not good enough constantly, that you don't deserve things. You're probably familiar with this, and this might be hard to work through. I find it hard to work through every year, and then it's easy for me to get trapped into it and be like, yeah, that is right, I'm not these things. So I think it's good to like do it, like to get it out on paper and like put those demons out of your body and onto the paper. You know what I mean? Like, get it out. So things where I said, the lies I have believed about myself or my life. I'm not a real ultramarathoner. I'm not a good writer. People are super annoyed by me. I'm not interesting enough to have a successful YouTube channel. Imposter syndrome in my career. I'm always behind and I'll never catch up. I'll always be overweight and unhappy with my appearance. That's kind of all over the board. We got job, we got recreation, we got fitness, we got health. Like, as I mentioned, I've done a lot of work on self-hate and negative self-talk over the years. So, but then you think about the next page is like the come out of that. That's like the get to the rock bottom of where your brain goes, and then this next page is supposed to help you break out of that. So this is who I really am. What would happen if you flipped the script and the lies you've believed? What if you're too much or not enough became just right? Write a few lines about the person you'd be free to be if you set aside the opinions of others. I said, I think I could be happier and more content if I just got more comfortable trusting myself. If I had the confidence to trust that I know what I'm doing, that I am an ultramarathoner. I mean, I've run several ultramarathons, so yes, I'm an ultramarathoner. That people enjoy my YouTube channel and my presence in general, I would be happier. I dedicate so much time and energy to anxiety, and I'm held back by that and my negative self-talk. I could be free to be unapologetically Fox and happy and confident. Unapologetically Fox. I mean, but I would apologize if I fucked up. I don't mean it that way. You know what I mean? I'm moving past fear. Fear will try to hold us back from making what matters happen. Name your fears about the year ahead, even the ones you don't want to write. And they want you to use the format, I fear blank because blank. This is another tough one. If you are doing your prep work and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this and think about this, that's normal and it's okay. And you might have to step back and come back to it, and that's okay. Because this stuff is hard. This is like, look deep into yourself and figure out your shit. And that is always a challenge. So I said, I fear managing my anxiety and depression because they're such a part of me. Who am I without them? And that's a weird thing to say. If you're anxious and depressed, wouldn't you want to just feel better? But then you realize, like, that's part of who I've always been. And what would I do without these emotions? And who would I be? And would I lose part of myself if I wasn't a depressed, anxious person anymore? I fear being confident and having it misread as cockiness. I hate cockiness. Oh, I can't stand it. The worst thing, if you want to, like, win my heart, is the worst thing you can do is try to impress me. I would, like, when husband and I first met, I didn't know if I liked him because he was like trying really hard to impress me, and I was like, ooh, this guy thinks a lot of himself. And then I realized it was just like a cover, and it was just like he was afraid that I wouldn't like him, so he was trying way too hard. And then I was like, you can be yourself around me, dude. And then he was, and it was good. But yeah, so I fear that if I'm going to gain self-confidence, I'm going to be taken as cocky. I fear that I'm too weird or different to reach lots of people. That's something that to do with my YouTube channel. Like, I don't have a very cultivated life, a very curated life on the internet. I'm just kind of like, it's me, here I am. And so I worry that people are like, oh, the weird person, there she is again. This is a weird thing that has been years of therapy to get comfortable with. I fear celebrating my successes because it will cause me to fail. And that goes back to negative self-talk and self-hate and this feeling that you don't deserve good things when they happen to you. And that was something that, I mean, Georgia and I worked on for years. That she would tell me, just because something went well doesn't mean something bad's now going to happen to balance it out. Brains, am I right? Like, what? If I were to step into my fears and take action, I would feel confident and content. I just want to be cozy and content all the time. I don't know if that's coming out in here. I just want to be experiencing new things and also very much in a blanket. Okay, these days are your legacy. Check all that apply to you. And obviously 2 of them like really hit home. So I checked everything, which I think a lot of people do when you're doing this. So what I've checked here are, I often describe myself as busy. I'll do the 2 big ones last. So much happens in my days, but I wish I was making more progress on what matters in the big picture. Sometimes I feel spread thin. I try to do it all and end up doing a lot of things poorly. I don't know how to use my time to focus on what's important, and I want to make my days count. The 2 that I like put all these stars and like circled them like, hey, being present can be challenging. My mind is in a million places. Yes, that's a big one for me. And distractions leave me feeling empty. I feel like I waste more time than I should. Yes. And I'm not talking about the culture of busyness and the culture of the side hustle. The things that I am missing out on because I'm wasting time scrolling or just feeling blah and just staring at things. It's not productivity stuff necessarily. It's like trail runs. It's like things that I like. It's like going for coffee. It's not like I should be making a fortune on Poshmark on the side, or I should be engaged in an MLM or anything like that. Like that would be like, I mean, my YouTube channel could, I guess, be money making eventually, but I love making videos on YouTube. I just really like it. I don't know why. I like started doing this a few years ago and I'm like, I really enjoy this. So it's a lot of times, more often than not, it's not hustle culture or whatever, however they call it. It is like creative things that I love. Like I consider YouTube creative, like a creative outlet for me. So I would not consider that a side hustle at this stage in my life, obviously. Okay, so this used to be, if you've done Powersheets before, they used to be like, what do you want to be when you're 80? How do you visualize your life when you're 80? But we have some 71-year-olds who are filling this out, and 80 is not that far off. So my mom is doing Powersheets for the first time this year, and I'm so proud of her. I had gotten at Go Wild, they gave everybody the 6-month undated one, and so I gave it to my mom, and she's finally 3 years later working on it. I'm really proud of her. But so now they change it to the big picture. Imagine yourself many years from now looking back on the whole of your life. Where will you be grateful you spent your time and attention? 2 boxes, what will have mattered and what won't have mattered. So the what will have mattered, I said all the memories and photos of people and places I love, the feeling of coming into the finish line at a race, so good. Being able to feel good about who I am and what I've done, and how many dogs I've patted. That's obviously the most important, you know. So what will not have mattered? The angry patient yelling at me for something I had no control over. And that was something I've had to work on. I've been in retail pharmacy for 18 years. And so like that's been a big thing to work on, is like not letting that kind of stuff eat away at you and kind of going like, they're mad at something and I'm the person that's in front of them. Like 9 times out of 10, it's not something that we actually did. It's like the insurance or something happened with the doctor, or you're scared that your kid is sick, or you're scared that your family member is dying, and like that's how it comes out. And so like I have to work on remembering like this moment that is so stressful right now is number 1, not about me, and number 2, not going to matter in the scheme of things. I'm going to do the best that I can to help this person in this moment, and that's good enough. Okay, the next 2 things are things that are like really hard for me. Eating chips out of the bag after a stressful day. I will like come home and graze, sometimes especially if it was a bad day, while I'm getting ready for dinner, and I will just literally be mad at myself for like ages over that. Like I will be like, I can't believe you did that. And that's like, that's not good. And also related to that, skipping a workout because I needed a day to rest my body. I was on the workout streak for like 5-7 years. So I think I started my streak in 2014, and I missed maybe like 4 days up until 2021. And it's like, I like a streak, and the streak keeps me consistent, and it's easy for me to like fall off the wagon. So I get this very much like, oh my god, I skipped a workout. Like I skipped a workout last night because I was like, I want to cook dinner and watch the Olympics because it was the last night of figure skating. But I'm getting to a better point where I'm like, that's okay. It's okay right now. I have a lot on my plate. It's okay to skip a day of a workout. Oh, also what won't have mattered, whatever rude things a person on the internet says to me, because I don't like people fighting with me on the internet. It makes me very defensive, and I hate it. I don't like conflict. I'm a Libra, if you couldn't tell. I really like balance and making people happy and being happy and getting everybody to get along. That's like my strong suit. Why can't we all just get along is my wheelhouse. So who do you want to be? Knowing what will matter to you, describe the kind of person you want to be. So I said, I want to be a very genuine, real person. I don't want to be the, quote, curated social media person. I want to be authentic and be the type of person who feels comfortable talking about difficult shit so that other people feel safe talking about their difficult shit. I want to be fun and reliable and someone people trust. I like being a caregiver and a mentor, and I want people to see that. Yeah, I guess I want to talk about my shit so that you feel safe talking about your shit too. And so we all can talk about our shit and we don't bottle it up, and then everybody's in a better place, right? Yeah. That's why I talk openly about mental health stuff, like constantly. Because you're annoyed by it. Okay. I really struggled with this spread this year. We did this during Cultivate Your Year Live. I was very confused about how to set this up, and I don't know. So I didn't do anything on this because I couldn't tell the difference between this and this. So this is your big picture vision. What is the big picture vision for each area of your life? And then knowing, okay, this is living it out this year, knowing what matters in the big picture. How can you live like it this year? So I think maybe what I was supposed to do was the stuff that I have underlined here was supposed to be here, and the other stuff that I wrote in was supposed to be here, but I didn't do it that way, so we're just going to go with how I did it. So health and this is again broken down into the 8 categories. Health and wellness, my big picture vision. Feel well, be happy with how I look and feel. And then my little like mini goals under that. Get off my blood pressure meds, hit my goal weight, run injury free, and like how I look in photos. I don't really have a goal weight, so that's a variable. That's not a hard stop. I just want to like lose some of this COVID weight. That's basically what it comes down to. And then we see once it comes off where we go from there. Okay, focal relationship. As I mentioned, my husband is my focal relationship. So my big picture vision is have mental space and energy to enjoy time together. And then my little goal is cook together, check off small tasks daily so they don't overwhelm us, and travel together. He has not been able to travel with me. Well, we went to Ohio for my race in January, but he wasn't able to come with me to the desert in January, and then I'm taking my mom to Arizona next week. So he's not able to travel either of those times because of a project at work, but in April we're getting to go on our annual California trip together, and I can't wait. Okay, friends. My big picture vision is to spend quality time with friends monthly. Group runs, races together, happy hour, go to dinner or drinks with friends. Wow, I'm doing better with this, and even in the first 2 months. Good job, Fox. So family, I said my big picture vision is stay close with my mom, include mom in fun things because she doesn't do fun things unless we make her do them. Keep talking on the phone daily, help each other with cleaning. So she's been helping me, and I told her I'll help her once she's ready for help around their house. Finances, my big picture goal is to be confident in spending and able to enjoy life. We need to open a savings account. We should probably meet with a financial planner because we are grown-ups now. I'm going to be 40 this year. I need a financial planner. And then keep watching our budget. Okay, work and learning. My big picture vision is to be able to leave work at work. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but a girl can dream. Other smaller things that I have to do at my job, tidy my inventory because we took over a store that really needed a lot of work, get settled in, that goes along with that, and have things running smoothly. So basically just try to transform this new store into what our old store was, and that's going to take several months for sure. Spiritual and personal growth, my big picture vision is to feel in touch with nature and spirit, spend time outside, go to the cemetery, and talk to spirit daily. So those are things that I do when it's warm weather. Recreation, my big picture vision for recreation is to enjoy the fuck out of life. I wrote, be present, go dancing, and do things that make me feel twice as alive. Twice as alive is a phrase that a friend in college came up with, which is the feeling that you get, well, okay, for me, twice as alive is the feeling that you get when you are driving on the freeway and you make the turn and you go through the big palm trees and the date farms and you come up through the big giant rocks in Joshua Tree and you put the U2 Joshua Tree album on, and Where the Streets Have No Name starts playing, and the skies are blue, and there are these amazing, majestic rocks, and you're headed into the Joshua Tree National Park, which is your favorite place on earth, and you just get overcome with this emotion of I'm home and I feel good, and like literally nothing could be better than this moment in this moment. And then you're like, why am I crying? And then your husband's like, babe, you cry every time we come to the desert. And then you're like, but why am I like this? And then your husband's like, babe, you just like feel things a lot sometimes. That is twice as alive. And so I need to do those things and embrace those things and find those things and not just live through matters of consequence. So then we turn to my cultivated year. It's time to make some decisions about where you'll spend your time this year and where you won't. Say yes to what matters in the year ahead and no to the things that will hold you back. Be bold. So what I'm saying yes to: celebrating, embracing joy and the things that I love, making everyday things important and lovely memories. Taking time for me. Staying on top of chores so that they run in the background and they don't distract me from real life. Like, I want to be like, every day I spend 15 minutes tidying up from the day before, and I don't have to spend 4 hours on a random day off. Always finding time for the miles. Yeah, running is a thing that makes me feel like a human, and I need to find the time to do the run. Going to the cemetery on a random sunny day. Oh my God, y'all. There were 2 days this week. It was 60 degrees. Well, one day it was raining. But Wednesday it was 62 degrees and like beautiful. And I was at work all day. And if I'd been home, I would have been in the cemetery. Finding food I love that is also healthy, because I love cooking. Embracing travel and adventure, as we've talked about over and over. Stretching and strength training. Not doing so well with those so far, but the year is young. And finally, I'm saying yes to being unapologetically Fox. What I'm saying no to: letting anxiety and depression distract me and steal my joy. Bringing worries home with me from work. Mindless scrolling. Eating takeout because I'm being lazy and then it doesn't make me feel good. Like, if I really want takeout because I'm like, oh man, I really want a pizza tonight, and this pizza place that we go to, I love it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like when I have something that I could cook and I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like cooking. And then we order takeout and then I feel like, blah, that wasn't good. Anybody else feel like this since the pandemic started? That takeout lost like its magic? Like, very rarely am I like, oh, let's get takeout tonight. Like, I still love going out to restaurants. Like, that's still magical to me. But it used to be like, man, oh, let's treat ourselves with takeout. And now it's like, takeout again? Because we went through like a whole year of where we couldn't go into a restaurant, and so all we could do was take out, and I'm over it. Anyway, I'm also saying no to staying in bed when I have anxiety and know that getting up will be better for me. Yeah, that's a big thing. Like, if I'm anxious, I've done that several times this week. My alarm goes off, and I know that if I get up and I sit down and I start working on my creative projects and I burn my candles and I put some good music on, that will help me feel better. But the anxiety keeps me in the bed, and I'm just like, that's not helpful. So, okay, also saying no to caring what other people say or think about me. That's a hard one. That's a work in progress. And saying no to putting off something for 3 months that I could complete in 15 minutes. Y'all feel me on this? Yeah, I know you do. It's okay. I'm going to do this in 2 videos because it's going to be way too long if I don't. So here we have the page that ties it all together. And in fact, they tell you it's like Mad Lib, but you have to go back to your other pages of stuff you wrote. So here's 14, 17, 19. Let's put it all together, flip back through everything you've written, fill out the summary of what you've uncovered about your year ahead. So, my name is Fox, and I am an anxious mess. I'm capable of change. I'm deciding that I can. The areas of my life that most need to be cultivated are health and wellness, spiritual and personal growth, and recreation. In the past, I have let negative self-talk derail me, but now I am ready to kick ass and live as my really real self. My legacy starts today, and the big picture, what will matter is the joy I experience, the memories and photos I have, and the good that I do. These traits will shine in me, my authentic, genuine self who talks openly and creates a safe space for others to talk about mental health. I'll start living my big picture vision this year by clearing the distractions to give myself mental space and clarity. I will do this little by little with big leaps along the way. I want to make what matters happen because I'm worth it. I deserve to have a life that I enjoy and that brings me joy. I will live this by saying yes to being unapologetically Fox and saying no to letting anxiety and depression derail me. I will let go of worrying that I'm weird or different or annoying and fill my life with more joy and truth. I'm ready. Let's do this. If y'all have ever done anything with Powersheets and you know Laura Casey is like the founder of Cultivate What Matters, she's on a whole different level. And like, I need some of that energy that she has. She's just always like, yes, yes, I'm grateful, I'm gonna fucking do this shit. But she doesn't cuss because she's very proper. But you just like watch her videos and it sounds like you would be annoyed by how like upbeat she is, but it's not that kind of like toxic positivity. It's just very much like someone who has got it fucking figured out and is like, you know what happens when bad shit comes my way? I fucking deal with it. Okay, why am I acting like Laura Casey cusses? I need to stop this. She doesn't. She'd be like, when bad things happen, you know what? I just rely on myself and I trust in myself and I get through it even if it's messy and it sucks and it takes a while. Like, it's very much like, I don't know. I just need to channel some of that. And I'm not there. She's very perky. So if you do attend Cultivate Your Year Live, you gotta have like a lot of coffee before you go to that, just so you can get on that level, but she helps you get on that level. And so like, I'm ready, let's do this is like, yeah, that's big Laura Casey energy. I don't know. I love her and I admire her, but like, not there yet. All right, so I don't know that I really, this page is new this year. I don't know if I super duper found it useful. So this is where you write a statement. What do you most want to cultivate in 2022? And I said mental clarity and peace of mind. And then you start working on the goals. And so they have it broken down this year into 3 types of goals. Habits, so things that create rhythms in your life, establish consistency. Finish lines, goals move you from where you are now to where and who you want to be. So that's like, you have a project that you want to finish, or you have a race that you want to run. Like, that's something that has a timetable and you're going to do a thing to complete it. And then the big dreams, goals are often bold, new, bold, or life-changing, taking extra effort. So I didn't end up putting any big dreams. Yeah, and she says here, most of us will set no more than 1 to 2 a year, and they may take several years to complete. I'm not a big dreams kind of person. Like, I'm not like a 5-year plan kind of person, so I found that hard to think about. But I feel like it was easy to see how each of my goals this year, each of the areas that I'm working on this year, have habit goals that would really be helpful. And then I had 3 specific finish line goals, and one was for health and wellness, was to run 100K. We'll talk about that in the next video. For finances, to open a savings account. That's a measurable thing that I can do. And then recreation, 40 days of travel. I didn't talk about that yet, did I? Well, I'm going to talk about it in the next video if I didn't. So there's your teaser. Do you want to come back for another video of me rambling for like ever? You can find out my 40 days of travel, what that means. Thank you. So those were the 3 that I found that had a finish line. I didn't really have any big dream goals. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want kids. I'm already married. Like, I don't really have like a big career dream. I mean, I have a big career dream, but it's like not, it's not on my radar right now. Like, I don't know if it will ever happen. My career dream is to someday be a death doula. It's really, I don't have the money to start my own practice, and you kind of have to have some kind of basis to start that. So we're not at that place financially. So I don't even really like think about that at this point. So I'm like, that's not even going to go on here. We're not even talking about that. Maybe 2025's Powersheets. All right, so here's your final page for this video, just to get you excited about my goals. In the next video, I'll go over the yearly goals. So, simplify your year. Use this page to write a rough draft of your habits, finish lines, and big dreams for 2022, which will get you closer to where you want to be in the big picture. So these were my like brainstorming ideas. So I said, take better care of my body, declutter and tidy the house, make it a place of peace and comfort, scrapbook, grow my garden, grow my YouTube channel, have chores run smoothly in the background, regain confidence as a runner and run 2 ultra marathons, 40 days of travel for my 40th birthday. Okay, I gave it away. Sorry. So you don't have to come back for the next video. I gave it away. And finally get to a weight where I feel comfortable with myself. So that's the preview. Because this is already a century and a half long, I am going to stop here, and then we'll come back and we'll go over my actual goals and what I'm trying to do in 2022. So thank you for sticking through this video. It was long, I know. I forget how long Powersheets videos take sometimes. But yeah, if you're working on your power sheets, tell me what you're working on in the comments. Like, let's talk about it. I know it's weird to see this in February instead of January, but it's where my life is right now. And like Laura Casey, I'm going to acknowledge something's not great. And I'm going to be like, but you know what? I have the tools to fix it. It's just going to take me a minute to figure it out. Yeah, look at how I came full circle with that. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new here. I publish at least 2 videos a week when things are moving smoothly, and sometimes I don't publish any videos at all when things are not moving smoothly, but you'll know what time it is when you watch the videos. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will see you in the next video.